to you guys is this. What are you doing? Because if nothing changes, right? Nothing changes, nothing changes. You're going to stay right where you are. And here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to progress yourself in terms of your career, your life in general, and your business, and there's a lot of entrepreneurs on the call and business owners, what got you? This is really important. The level of thinking that got you to where you are today will not take you to the next level. All right? That level of thinking, I'll say that again, that level of thinking that got you to where you are today will not get you to the next level and the level above that. But let's just work with one level at a time, otherwise it's totally overwhelming. So if nothing changes, nothing changes. Trying to do something more and bigger than that you've ever done before is not going to happen with your current day thinking. Does that make sense? I'm a rocket. Okay, I feel like I take on too much, so maybe the opposite. Okay, so maybe, Kelly, for you just need to reduce it down and really get super focused. Sometimes we do, and just be crystal clear on what you're doing and get super focused on that one thing and do it so well to completion. Heard that before? Do it to completion. So if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you want to make the breakthrough, here's the key, is you need to shift your mindset. Number 2, I'm going to keep moving quickly this morning. What are you doing? So what are you doing? Can you guys see that? I know, it's a bit tricky, isn't it? If I'm looking at it in reverse. What are you doing? Number 2, what are you doing in terms of filling yourself up with the good stuff? Are you reading? Are you following people on YouTube? Are you watching Wake Up with Harriet? Are you, I don't know, downloading free things from, Audible. You can do your free trial and get free books there for 30 days. Amazing. I did that sitting on a flight to Brisbane the other day and listened to a whole thing about brand marketing. What are you doing? Because you don't have to spend huge amounts of money to get yourself started, guys, right? You don't have to. So what are you doing to fill your mind and body and soul up with the good stuff? Hey, Jessica. How are you? It's so nice to actually have you on the call. Good morning, or good, she's in the UK, so it's late for you, isn't it, Jessica? So we're just saying, what are you doing to up-level your mindset to take you to the next level? So guys, what can you do to fill yourself up? Free stuff, taking a mentor or a coach. I want you to really think about that. Who's going to help you? Because which brings me to this. Hey, Jacqueline. Good morning, Francesca Moy. Francesca Moy, in case you missed the beginning, the topic is, what are you doing to take you to the next level? Okay, what are you doing to take you to the next level? First tip was that we've already discussed. Nothing changes if nothing changes. And guys, Francesca's on the call. She's amazing if you need help to boom your business in terms of social media or putting yourself out there, particularly for women. We've talked about that a lot in the last few days. Putting yourself out there, getting yourself out from behind your tree is one of the biggest pain barriers. And Annalisa Rose, I'm talking to you. Lots of love there, though. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Our second point, Francesca, was, what are you doing? What are you doing to up-level yourself? Because what we're talking about is here, the mindset that got you to where you are today, that's totally fine, but it's not going to get you to where you need to go. And the third point, which we've just got to, is who's in your corner. This is a really important one, because as we're trying to grow and change, guys, sometimes the old friends and the old contacts that we have, sometimes that fear of leaving them at the old bus stop of life, a few bus stops back, can be really scary and heartbreaking. But for you to progress, you need to think about who's in your corner, from your tribe, who's your mentor, who are you watching and being mentored by and being led by. Because as I said earlier, your current day thinking will not take you to your next level. So what are you doing in terms of who's in your corner? And one thing I don't advocate, a lot of people will say, if people don't support you, cut them off. That is not a grown-up approach. There are ways as you progress and grow that you can find ways to have conversations with your family and friends to separate out the negativity. And that's part of your growth. Cutting people off And just doing that is not a sustainable way to go about life. And I just say that because I see it happen a lot. There's this mindset that we have to just eradicate people. That's not personal growth, okay? That's short-term focused. And just see it as a trigger point for you. It's your learning. Good morning, Douglas. Jessica, it's 9:30 p.m. in the UK. Woo, good morning, Douglas. Hello, Brisbane. So who's in your corner? And this is a really important one to remember, because you are essentially being influenced at every point in your day. The unconscious mind is taking in all those cues, those signals, those mindsets of the people you're surrounding yourself with. So who you're mixing and associating with is so important. The second piece to that is a lot of my clients or friends, family will say to me, but how do I afford a coach? How do I afford a mentor? What have you? Guys, you get onto Facebook. There's so many groups. If you want to surround yourself with more like-minded people, join some groups on Facebook. Find people in your city, meetup groups, whatever it may be. There's so much you can do to start to increase your circle of influences and people who are already at that next level and that next level again. Okay? It's not an excuse. Those people are everywhere. There are 2 billion active users on Facebook. I think it's every month, right? There are so many people out there who have the mindset that you want, all right? So really important, who's in your corner? Who have you got leading your way, mentoring you? Yeah, exactly, Jessica. We do need people to be with us, that sense of community, to go on that journey with. It's very, very hard to do it on your own. I think if you ask anybody who's tried to do this journey on their own, you'll get there if you're totally committed. But it's going to be the long way home, not the fast way. And life doesn't have to be difficult. Success should be easy, right? So I'm here to help remove some of those plugs. Does that make sense? I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. I promised you that we're going to keep these Wake Up with Harriet's just a little bit shorter. So what I'm saying to you, Douglas, just maybe ignore this comment. Is it time to put on your big girl pants? Is it time to put on your big girl pants and step up into the light, step up into your superpower, and really take your power and do what you need to do? Because when you don't put on your big girl pants, get out of your comfort zone and do something to up-level yourself, commit, hire a coach, hire a mentor, join a group, whatever it may be, you're going to stay exactly where you are. Is that making sense? Hope that is helping you guys. I'm just looking at the comments. Jessica, totally agree with that. And here's a great example of that. So Jessica and I met through a Facebook group all about, well, it doesn't really matter so much what it was, but we met through that Facebook group and have become potential collaborators on a project down the track. So it's amazing what happens when you get onto Facebook and who you meet. And Carmen, we met through a project as well online. It's amazing. The world is hugely abundant with opportunities. You just need to be open to that and crack that mindset. Okay, well, I've talked enough. Guys, just so you know, and I'm not pretending my strength is in drawing, right? I would not make a good school teacher with the drawing, maybe the notes, but not the drawing. Webinars next week. So if you haven't joined or you'd like to join, we're talking about how to go from stuck to supercharged. Most of you will know my story. I'm not going to go through that again, but I turned my life around in 6 months. So anybody who tells you you cannot do that and you cannot fast track your progression, don't listen to it. You can absolutely do it. Kelly, I'll private message you and you can jump on board. Absolutely would love to have you on my list. That'll be fun. Another superwoman. Yeah. That woman's a rocket, guys. Check out Kelly. She's a rocket. And particularly if you're into financial, you need some financial support or around financial mindset, Kelly is the woman to go to. So connect with her. You'll see her in the comments. The webinar next week, talking about going from stuck to supercharged. How do you go from being stuck and riddled with self-doubt and fears and thinking that success is for the privileged class only, it's for other people, not for me. What can I do? I'm stuck. I'm going around in circles because that was me in the corporate job, trotting around in my Jimmy Choos in London. Looked great, but it was a nightmare. I cannot begin to tell you. It was so soul destroying. I was earning lots of money, had great restricted stock units, I was traveling to Europe every week. I was going to Milan. Sorry, that's the cat. If you've been on these before, you know that my cat is like a toddler. But I was dying on the inside. So if I turn that around, adrenal fatigue, anxiety, you name it, a relationship breakdown. So I separated from my partner of 12 years, ended up as a single parent in a foreign country, potentially unable to even stay legally in the country because I was no longer partnered to him. So I had immigration breathing down my back, a really hypertoxic relationship, adrenal fatigue, emergency room. I couldn't even walk around my block in London without falling apart. If I can turn myself around in 6 months and as a single parent, move back to Australia, start a business and actually do what I love, making money, actually be able to go for a run and be a normal human being again, you can do it. Because if I can break through all of my barriers and continuing to smash them, you can too. All right. So jump on board. I'll post the link again in the on the page and go ahead and join. Love to have you on board because I'm sharing those tips really practical. I don't do fluff. Lots of practical, real tips. And together on the webinar, we're going to do some of the exercises together. So you've got real actions immediately. All right, guys. We are going to wrap up because I have made that commitment to you. 10 to 15 minutes. It is enough. Oh, Kelly, you didn't know my 6 month turnaround. Well, I can tell you that was, let me tell you one thing about investing, guys. I can't even draw the pound sign anymore. When I committed to, I think it was £4,000, that's a lot of money when you convert it to dollars, to go and not only be coached by Jack Canfield for 6 weeks, and if you know Jack Canfield, the Success Principles, Chicken Soup for the Soul, I got the opportunity to be coached directly by him for some of those sessions. I sat when I made that commitment to turn around my life, Kelly, because I said, I cannot do this anymore. The self-doubt was just killing me. I sat in my apartment in London and I stared at the wall for like 3 hours. And it was about this time 2 years ago, only 2 years ago, because it was around my birthday, and I thought, screw it, I'll invest this money. I've worked so hard, so hard over the years, but I felt sick. All right, that was my terror barrier, you know, banging into it. I smashed through it. I transferred that money across, and in 6 weeks, working with Jack Canfield and one of his, just 2 years ago, one of his coaches and Jack Canfield, honestly, I cannot begin to tell you, and there was no turning back. So if you're worried about committing a bit of this or some of the pounds or whatever your currency is, my gosh, you are going to stay stuck unless you do something about it, guys. It was the best 4 or 5 grand in pounds that I ever spent.